Everybody, Chris Grest here. So this is going to be the first of a multi-part series if folks show interest. But I know there's a lot of new gun owners out there with recent events and stuff, and a lot of those folks probably are going to be interested in picking up some sort of a suppressor. So I thought what I'd do is take this time and kind of explain a little bit about the process, which suppressor to choose if you're a first-time suppressor owner. So mainly for new gun owners that are now interested in buying a suppressor, but even I know quite a few existing gun owners that have shown interest in suppressors and ask me questions quite often, actually. And folks have a lot of misconceptions about suppressors and suppressor ownership and what the process is. So I'm going to take this time the next few videos and again, if there's interest, just to kind of, from my point of view, what things you should think about if you're interested in purchasing a suppressor. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you're a new gun owner or existing gun owner, and you're looking to, you're interested in purchasing your first suppressor. So how do you go about doing this? Where do you start? I mean, there's a lot of information out on the internet, a lot of good resources, of course, but it can be a little bit overwhelming, I think, or even intimidating to a new prospective suppressor owner. So what should you look at first? Always the first thing you should look at as far as a suppressor is look at your state and local laws, call your sheriff's department and your local police, and make sure that suppressors are allowed in your particular area. So there are different states and different local laws that may prohibit that. So that's first things first. And this isn't this video is not meant to give you any legal advice, but ignorance of the law, you're responsible for that. Okay, so that's the first thing, and get that out of the way. The second thing you should look at is, okay, there's so many suppressors. What freaking type of suppressor do I want to get? So I have a handful of suppressors here, and ranging from rimfire, pistol, as well as rifle cans. If it is your first suppressor, in my opinion, I believe you want to get as much satisfaction out of that suppressor as possible. I always recommend some sort of a rimfire suppressor first off, and the reason being is because a rimfire can is going to be most likely the cheapest offering to get into the suppressor game. It also can provide the most satisfaction out the door. So what I mean by that is, You know, shooting a rimfire, either pistol or rifle, you can buy subsonic ammo or standard velocity ammo, such as CCI, standard velocity, and it's super quiet. You know, you get a lot of satisfaction, you know, because people are buying suppressors you know, to be able to shoot with, you know, no hearing protection, and you know, have a quiet host. So I always recommend rimfire can first. It's also the cheapest caliber to shoot by far. So you can slap this thing on there and shoot it as much as you want, and you know, it's not going to break the bank. So so there are a lot of rimfire cans available. One thing that I will recommend is, because rimfire cartridges are very dirty, make sure you get a user serviceable suppressor. So what I mean by that is a suppressor that you can take the tube off and take the baffles out for cleaning. So this suppressor here was my very first can that I purchased. It's a Tactical Solutions Cascade Titanium. It was a relatively inexpensive suppressor, but the drawback to it is that it is a sealed can, so for user maintenance it's really not ideal, especially with the rimfire cartridge being so dirty. So that's always my first recommendation. The other thing you may want to consider as far as your first suppressor is, what calibers do you use the most, or which ones are you interested in suppressing? So I always recommend, you know, if you're an AR shooter or any type of rifle shooter, getting some sort of a rifle can. These typically are not user serviceable. They are sealed cans. You can change maybe the end cap on here, and then on the back side, there's different types of attachment methods. So that again is kind of a user preference thing. I personally recommend cans that are quick detach. That way, if you're only going to purchase 1 or 2 cans and you want to be able to switch them between rifles or hosts, they're easy to remove. They have a collar here that you can twist off and on to lock it and unlock it, and then swap it between hosts. And there are also different types of rifle cans. So this one here is a Rugged Razor 7.62. And this guy is a 30 caliber can, but just because it is set up for a 30 caliber does not mean that you cannot use it for different calibers. So this particular can I use for anything from 300 Winchester Magnum down to 5.56, and anything in between is perfectly acceptable. Of course, you know, definitely check the manufacturer specifications when selecting a suppressor to make sure that you can use it on the calibers that you desire, as well as the barrel length. So some suppressors have restrictions on barrel length, so the minimum barrel length size that the can can be used on. The other thing that the manufacturers will specify is the firing schedule. So some suppressors are full auto rated, or even in the case of the Rugged Razors, so-called belt fed rated, which means you can fire these at a higher rate of speed without risking damaging the suppressor. So the other type of can style other than quick detach is a direct thread method. So you can see this rimfire can here is a direct thread, and then this rifle can is a quick detach. Okay. So there are also different types of rifle cans as far as the length. So typically the longer length and the more volume the can, the more sound suppression. Now Don't be fooled. Most of your rifle cans are not going to suppress a rifle caliber down to what a 22 subsonic will sound. Typically, the longer, the more volume, the more sound suppression. But even if you're shooting a 5.56 with the largest can like this one here, you're not going to make it super quiet. You're still going to have quite a bit of sound there. And then this rifle can here actually is a modular can. So this section here can be removed to make it in a shorter length or a full size length. So this is a rugged radiant can, and I'm a big fan of ruggeds suppressors in general. All right. So another type of can that you may consider is a pistol caliber can. So this is another rugged offering. It is also modular like the rugged radiant, and this is a 9mm. And 9mm cans typically you can shoot other stuff through it, 22 and what have you. If you plan on shooting a lot of rimfire and pistol calibers, it may be worthwhile to get a can like this, like a 9mm or a 45, because this does really well with pistol calibers, and it also does really well with rimfire. So if you plan on doing a lot of pistol shooting, maybe bypass the rimfire can and just go with a pistol caliber can. Pistol caliber cans, however, come with a lot of their own challenges and different mounting types. So what we have here is a standard, what's called a tri-lug mount. So this is a quick detach method, but you can also set these up with different mounting options available. You can set it up for a direct thread like this. Yeah, so they're pretty versatile cans, your pistol caliber cans. So just to give you a little closer view of a quick detach rifle can, so I have a mount here, and you can see you have some tapers, and you're going to screw the can on there. And with rugged, they have some labeling here. So once you screw it on there, you close the locking collar, and you have this nice go and no go. So that makes sure, as long as that go is lined up, you don't see the no go, that means that the can is fully screwed on and the locking collar is in place. So pretty nice mounting system there for the rugged cans, and they have different types of muzzle options. And you know, obviously I have a lot of experience with rugged, but there's a lot of other manufacturers as well that offer very good mounting systems. So as far as the pistol can, I mentioned that I had a tri-lug mount here, and these are really cool. And the way this works is it's got a spring in here, so when you push the can on, and I probably won't be able to do it with, I'd have to have my rifle in here, but you put it in there and then you twist it against the spring pressure, and it's going to lock these 3 lugs in place inside. So you can kind of see how there's a cutout. You know, you can use this type of mounting system to swap between hosts. So it's much preferred for folks that use pistol caliber carbines and stuff like that. Tri-lug adapters are pretty nice for that. Okay, so hopefully this first video in a series you know, gives you what to start off with. You know, if you're interested in buying a suppressor, again, the first couple things: check your laws. You know, kind of decide what type of suppressor you want to buy. Maybe you want to buy a few of them. So I pointed out a few of the ones I have experiences with here: rimfire, pistol cans, rifle cans, and so on. So going forward, I'll kind of get into the nitty gritty as far as like where do you purchase a suppressor from. You know, and that sort of thing in future videos. So, but for right now, I think this is enough. Appreciate y'all watching, and any suggestions or questions, comments, anything you'd like to see in the future videos, ideas. You know, this is just trying to be a helpful series from my standpoint, being somebody that's fooled around with suppressors for a number of years. So put your comments down below, much appreciated. And again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will catch you all on the next video. Okay, y'all take it easy.